E3 2019 is just around the corner. What used to be the ultimate battleground for console manufacturers and publishers is starting to become more and more irrelevant. To the shock of many, for the first time in 24 years, market leader Sony won't have a booth or press conference at the annual trade show. EA already confirmed that they won't be hosting a traditional press conference this year, and Sony is skipping E3 entirely. I for one am very grateful that an event like E3 exists. Despite broken promises, marketing speech and severe moments of cringe, looking at you, EA, all in all, E3 is every gamer's personal Super Bowl. Hundreds of game and hardware announcements in less than a week. There simply is nothing like it. Isolated game reveals scattered throughout the year just don't have the same impact as the insane number of highly anticipated indie and AAA games we get to see during the small time span of E3. Essentially, E3 is a carpet bombing of great game announcements. Maybe I'm naive, but for a short time E3 brings the gaming community together and reminds us what really matters: awesome video games. E3 grants us a sneak peek at the future of gaming, a hobby we all share and appreciate. While the dominant game companies are touting for our attention, we can lean back and enjoy the spectacle. E3 is a nice break from all the childish fanboy wars and controversy. But it's undeniable that this year's E3 is much smaller in scale due to the loss of Sony's press conference. As a PlayStation fan, Sony's showcase used to be my personal highlight. By now, it's also clear that the next generation of consoles will be released at the end of next year, which means this year's E3 is more like the calm before the storm, instead of the actual storm, which will be E3 2020. Since Sony isn't participating and next E3 will be the real deal, it's probably a good idea to temper your expectations. That being said, Sony's absence gives Microsoft the unique chance to completely dominate this E3. Every major third-party announcement is pretty much directly tied to Microsoft's conference. If Phil Spencer is to be believed, it will be Microsoft's biggest E3 presence ever. So without further ado, here are my predictions for Microsoft's E3 press conference. As far as exclusive games are concerned, Halo Infinite will be Microsoft's flagship title. Halo has always been synonymous with the Xbox brand. Apart from an atmospheric teaser trailer, which was primarily focused on showing off the new Slipspace engine, not much is known about Halo Infinite. A major gameplay reveal is pretty much set in stone and one of the safest predictions one could make. Personally, I've no emotional connection to the Halo franchise, but even I know that especially Halo 5's campaign divided the fanbase. It seems like Halo Infinite is trying to bring disappointed fans back on board by returning to the roots of the franchise. The design of Master Chief and the music choice are clearly a callback to the glory days of Halo. Although I'm speaking as an outsider, I sincerely hope the Halo franchise finds back to old form and reunites the splintered fanbase. According to the rumors, Microsoft is investing a ridiculous amount of money in Halo Infinite. Let's see if it pays off. Just like Halo Infinite, Gears 5 was revealed at last year's E3. So a substantial gameplay demo for the Coalition's newest title is a no-brainer. The entire success of the Xbox One's exclusive portfolio hinges on what I like to call the Holy Trinity. Gears, Halo and Forza are the backbone of the Xbox brand, whereas Sony has created enough new successful IPs to leave popular franchises like Uncharted, Infamous and Killzone behind. The Microsoft exclusive lineup is very much dependent on the same three names. Hopefully this means the next Gears will be the absolute best it can be.
This is a wild game of survival.
Now that we have the usual suspects out of the way, it's time to talk about new IPs. I've said it 100 times already, so forgive me for saying it again. The Xbox One exclusive lineup is a huge disappointment for several reasons. First of all, many of the exclusives turned out to be either outright awful or mediocre at best. High quality exclusives are few and far between. Secondly, extremely promising exclusives like Scalebound, Fable and Phantom Dust were cancelled. Thirdly, and most importantly, the Xbox One is lacking impressive new IPs. If you take away the holy trinity of Halo, Gears and Forza, the Xbox One is almost devoid of noteworthy exclusive games. It took Microsoft a while to tackle this problem, which is why the Xbox One is a lost cause in terms of exclusives. Fortunately, Microsoft is committed to avoiding this mistake during the next console generation. After a massive shopping spree, they added 7 new studios to their first-party network. I'd argue that many of these studios are fairly mediocre. However, it is a step in the right direction. Microsoft never had enough talented studios to rival Sony's world-class first-party network. But maybe this is about to change next generation thanks to the newly acquired developers. I am perfectly aware of the fact that we won't see anything substantial from Microsoft's new studios anytime soon. Many of them just released a game like Undead Labs and Compulsion Games, or are currently still working on a cross-platform release like Obsidian and In Exile. We already know what 343 Industries and the Coalition are developing. Rare is still focused on providing new content for Sea of Thieves. Turn 10 must be occupied with the development of the next Forza. Well, and the Minecraft guys are doomed to make more Minecraft for all eternity. Basically, this leaves 3 important studios: Ninja Theory, Playground Games and The Initiative. Despite the fact that the new games of these developers are still a couple of years away, I do believe we will see a small tease of their new projects. Microsoft has to prove that the next console generation will be different in terms of exclusive content. If Playground Games announces a new Fable and Ninja Theory and The Initiative add impressive new IPs, Microsoft could generate enough hype for their upcoming consoles. Talking about new studios, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft's first-party network gets a few more members until the next generation of Xbox consoles launches. It's Microsoft we are talking about. This company is drowning in money. So a few more acquisitions to put even more pressure on Sony shouldn't be a problem. If we can trust recent rumors, Relic Studios, the developer of Age of Empires, could be Microsoft's next acquisition. What's a little bit harder to believe, but certainly not out of the question, is that Microsoft is in advanced talks with a mid-sized studio that is known for collaborating with PlayStation. Many people immediately drew a connection to Ready at Dawn. As we all know, the Order 1886 showed potential, but ultimately didn't perform to Sony's expectations due to mediocre sales and reviews. So maybe there's some merit to those rumors and Microsoft saw an opening. But we still don't know if Ready at Dawn is working on the Order sequel or if Sony has abandoned the IP. At any rate, I absolutely expect Microsoft to add another developer to its first-party network. Sony finally dropped first details regarding PS5 hardware and confirmed that the next PlayStation console will support backward compatibility. Everything we've heard so far sounds impressive for a $400 to $500 console, especially the super fast loading times. Now the question is if Microsoft will respond by revealing first hardware details for their new Xbox consoles. Realistically, Microsoft won't be able to show us all that much, assuming the next generation of Xbox hardware is scheduled to be released at the end of next year. They certainly won't reveal the price or the console designs so early. So Microsoft will probably confirm the existence of two next-gen consoles and give us first details concerning their hardware differences. If Microsoft's high-end Xbox, codenamed Anaconda, turns out to be even more powerful than Sony's PS5, I'm sure Microsoft would love to brag about it this E3. As I've already mentioned, if third-party developers are ready to reveal their upcoming projects, Microsoft's conference is the way to do it. Usually, major cross-platform games were divided between Microsoft and Sony. However, this year Microsoft doesn't have to fear the announcement of its greatest rival. Last year I was fairly certain Rocksteady would reveal their next project during Sony's E3 conference. Unfortunately, Rocksteady's game didn't turn up at all. Arkham Knight was released 4 years ago, meaning Rocksteady should be ready to reveal the next major project. Maybe two superhero games from rivaling companies are too much for one conference. But again, with Sony out of the picture, where else would you reveal the game? Since the first teaser 2.5 years ago, we haven't heard or seen anything from the Avengers project. As many of you know, I'm not the greatest superhero fan when it comes to movies, but as Insomniac's Spider-Man and Rocksteady's Batman trilogy have shown, the concept of playing a powerful hero often translates into an incredible gameplay experience. Although I don't care all that much about an Avengers game per se, the fact that Crystal Dynamics is working on a superhero game has me excited. It's possible that the Avengers game is planned to be a next-gen release, which means it makes sense to postpone the reveal to next E3. But hey, hope always dies last. If one game is destined to dominate E3 2019, then it's Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red already promised a strong showcase of Cyberpunk's tremendous potential during what they consider to be their most important E3 ever. It seems like the entire gaming community is looking forward to CD Projekt's long-anticipated title, which isn't at all surprising after the release of one of the best open-world RPGs of all time and the company's good treatment of its fanbase. In that regard, Cyberpunk 2077 enters E3 with lots of goodwill and hype. But at the same time, the enormous expectations force CD Projekt to deliver something truly amazing. Witcher Wild Hunt set an incredibly high benchmark, and even a talented developer like CD Projekt will have a hard time to surpass it. Hopefully, the next gameplay demo gives us a detailed look at the game's mechanics, day and night cycle, and especially the mission design. If we are lucky, they might be ready to announce a release window. I wouldn't count on it though. So much for my predictions for Microsoft's E3 press conference. You can expect to find similar prediction videos for Ubisoft and Bethesda in the coming days. As always, you can share your own predictions and expectations in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.